I'm Anthony Forrest, the president of Steel Cod, and I'm here with John Beresford, our VP of Sales, ready to discuss all things appliances. All right, John, you've been reading the tea leaves with the Steel Cod Power Index, and if you don't know what that is, shoot me an email, anthony@steelcod.com. And you've been looking at kind of some trends, and we have some stock up and stock down, the luxury induction range edition. It's really, really interesting what you kind of dug out of this and kind of who's rising, which is Fisher Paykel and JennAir are kind of on the come in this. And BlueStar and Dacor are kind of slipping, which is interesting. It might not be what people would expect. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, I think that, so first, let's talk about this, okay? Before we get into this, right, is
Where do we get this information?
yeah, exactly, because the instinct for the power index is almost to treat it like sales data, right? So what's already happened? It's not, right? This is more conversation activity, more so than anything else, right? So it's what's getting brought up on the floor, what's making it kind of in that short list of consideration, and then again, what's actually being considered in real time. So this is a completely different signal than quoting behavior or sales behavior, sales numbers, or anything like that, right? So why I think this is so important, and especially in luxury, is because the product doesn't win necessarily when it's the best. It wins when it gets into the conversation early enough to matter. Because I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but I always thought that within luxury, the first couple of brands that you would bring up tend to be the ones that carry the conversation, right? Everything else just kind of felt like an alternative to it or a less than once it comes up third or fourth in the conversation. So the earlier you can come up in the conversation in luxury, especially deal with a luxury customer, I think the more important that it is. So when you see movement like this, what like we're about to go over, what you're really looking at is really decision behavior shifting. Okay. So it has nothing to do with product quality or anything like that, obviously. It's more in that decision behavior and really the willingness for salespeople to bring them up in these conversations. So it is interesting to talk about.
All right, so let's go through the stock up brands first. So first we have Fisher Paykel in the induction range, which is interesting, especially for me because I have a Fisher Paykel induction range and we're very happy with it. So they've been around for a while, but we're recently seeing some strong traction here. So what do you see happening?
Yeah, the thing with Fisher and Paykel is the product has never been the issue. They've always made strong products across every category. I think that they've been specifically good in induction for a very long time. The issue with them has always and will continue to be positioning, right? Because listen, let's be honest about where they were, right? They lived in that middling kind of space for a number of years and they were happy being there, right? I mean, they just lived off of the crumbs of luxury for a long time, right? So, it was one of those brands that they were too elevated to be treated like a true bridge brand, but they weren't fully accepted as like a luxury anchor brand, right? And that's kind of one of the hardest places to operate in this industry because you're not going to get brought up automatically, right? You almost always get added later into the conversation and sometimes if at all. So what you're seeing now, I think for them is not really a spike. I think it's more of a delayed recognition more than anything else, right? Because as we know, they made this push into luxury positioning, quite some time ago now, right? I mean, they have a much cleaner design language, they have a much more cohesive lineup, and they have much more kind of a confidence and bravado now in terms of how they present themselves, right? But if we're honest, the market didn't really move with them right away, right? I mean, it kind of lagged behind. But now you're starting to see the signs that the market is starting to catch up to them, right? Because the product is and has always been super efficient. The design has always been clean. It's actually gotten cleaner with the redesign and the commitment to luxury, and the integration has always been super easy. But more importantly, as we're seeing now with this, at least with the evidence that we have in this category, is it's being included earlier. And again, in a category like this, where there's so much traction around induction and it's super crowded because there are brands that are out there that specialize in induction now and all that kind of stuff. So induction tends to be a more crowded universe than even gas and dual fuel. So you're up against these brands that have very easy stories to tell, very repeatable stories that have been around forever. So for them to be brought up in conversation and moving the way they are in this category, this is massive for them, and it's been a long time coming.
So JennAir, that's next. So that's actually really good to see JennAir on the positive side of the induction ranges. There's been some inconsistencies of how they're perceived kind of as a brand, and
Yeah.
you know, as taking that into consideration specifically in this category, do you think that this is the right direction for JennAir?
Yeah, I mean, this is another one that's I think a super positive development, right? Especially for Gen Air, right? And with Gen Air, I would argue that this is a little bit of a different kind of movement than what we're seeing with Fisher and Paykel, right? Because this isn't really just climbing out of a positioning gap so much. This is really about, listen, what I would call breaking out of an identity confusion more than anything else, right? For years, Gen Air has really kind of sat right in the middle, right? They've had more of a premium history, and they've always had this kind of luxury ambition, um, and they never fully landed clean in either direction, right? They kinda hung on to both sides for a long time, and then on top of that, they went through this whole redesign, right? And they made really bold design choices as a result, as a real attempt to separate themselves from the field. And this is another one where the market didn't immediately accept it, right? There was and continues to be some hesitation around them. And, people weren't really sure where it fits. And is it actually luxury, or is it just a dressed up premium product, right? With a couple more bells and whistles. And that hesitation in the marketplace really kind of slowed everything down, and now you're starting to see a little bit of a shift here, which is great. The familiarity of the brand and that type of thing is really starting to catch up. And, this look has been around long enough that it's not so shocking to anybody anymore, right? The story is becoming easier to present as a result. And then again, more importantly, salespeople are more willing to bring it up into the conversation. And that's the real key here because, you know, it's real easy to say, "Oh, well, they must be driving it by spiffs or, driving it by a different promotion or anything like that." But look, they've been doing this for years since they rolled out this redesign, and none of it has ever moved the needle for them. So, this is true momentum that we're seeing in this category from them. It's kind of going from like the maybe pile into, all right, let's give these guys a shot and start talking about them a little bit more. So then once you start to see that happen, you will see true momentum of truly where it's supposed to sit in the marketplace. So yeah, it's exciting for them too to know that they're being brought up a heck of a lot more.
So this was disappointing to see Blue Star in stock down because this is kind of a bummer. I've always been a fan of Blue Star as a brand and what they brought to it, and so induction ranges is a fairly new category for them. So certainly don't want to see it stock down on that side. So what's happening over here?
Yeah, I think Blue Star is probably a perfect example of a product that can be absolutely incredible because it is definitively. It's one of the best induction ranges that are on the market. But you can be that good and you can still lose ground at any
Mm.
point, right? Because this has nothing to do with how good the range is. Okay. Blue Star is, like I just talked about, they're incredibly strong. But it's probably also one of the most salesperson dependent brands in the category, right? Because it requires an extra level of explanation. It requires confidence in doing so. And it requires somebody who actually knows how to position it correctly. And that's a problem in a fast moving sales environment, right? Because there are other brands that don't require nearly the level of effort that Blue Star does in terms of explanation. So Blue Star then gets perceived as complex, right? And intimidating and special order heavy. The nomenclature alone can actually slow people down from time to time. So, even the customization process, I mean, that can create a ton of hesitation. And the second the salesperson feels that level of friction, especially in luxury, there's an easier path that's sitting right next to it that's pretty easy to take. So what happens? It doesn't get brought up nearly as much. And if it doesn't get brought up, well, then it doesn't exist in the conversation, right? And that's why this brand will always fluctuate and move up and down all the time because when the right rep is in place for them and the right rep or the right salesperson, I guess, is driving it, it can still dominate in terms of sales and closing and all that kind of stuff because it's a great brand. But when representation is sparse in particular areas and that you have a sales staff that isn't quite as confident, they're going to completely disappear on the floor. So it doesn't surprise me. Again, when we talk about things like this, we're talking about how often it's being brought up in conversation, right? Not the quality of the product. This is one of the best products that you can buy, but it's also one of the most complex. And if you don't have a rep out in your marketplace in your area that can make this easy for you, it's really easy for it to disappear from the conversations.
So the other brand we're seeing kind of slipping in the luxury induction ranges is Dacor. Why do you feel that is?
Mhm. Different problem entirely. Okay. So this has nothing to do with complexity. Actually a pretty easy story to tell. This really comes down to trust. Okay. And the product can be really strong and the design can be really compelling. And I would agree on both of those accounts that they are. But none of that matters if the back end story introduces any level of doubt. And right now, that doubt comes more from, to be fair to Dacor, more from association than anything else, because its parent company is Samsung. And whether it's fair or not is really irrelevant, right? Is because in these luxury conversations that we have, the perception is always going to win out immediately, right? The second service concerns enter the conversation, even through perception, the tone changes entirely, right? And the salesperson can feel it, and the customer feels it. And instead of kind of pushing through it, most people are just going to avoid it because in luxury, the stakes are considerably higher. Nobody wants to defend a product after the sale. So it's easier just to move on to something that feels safer. And that's what's going to kill the momentum. So, learning that a couple of times as salespeople is saying, all right, well, if I'm just going to blow past this brand, once I bring them up anyway, why even bring them up in the first place? Right. So it has nothing to do with performance or features or anything else like that. It really has to do with confidence in what happens after the install. And if you don't have a really good story to lean on with them that you can feel confident about, it's easier just not to bring them up at all.
So what would you say, looking at these kind of what's moving up and what's moving on the stock up and stock down of it, what would you say is the patterns that you're seeing?
So, you know, stock up, I think we talked about that a little bit. Stock down, I think it's friction, right? I think that's really the pattern in all of this, right? It has nothing to do with product in either one of those cases. Dacor and BlueStar both make great products, so it's not specs or anything like that. It's just friction, right? The brands that are rising are easier to carry into the conversation because they're easy to explain, they're easier to trust, right? They don't slow the salesperson down in any way, and they don't introduce any real hesitation. But the ones that are dropping, we just described, they both on both accounts, they require work, right? They require a defense in some cases, and they do introduce some level of risk. And in a luxury sales environment, that's just enough to push them out early in the conversation or not get brought up at all.
All right, so I'm a salesperson listening to this episode. I've been just told on who's rising and who's falling in luxury induction ranges. What do I do with this information?
So I would say don't chase don't make the mistake of chasing what's rising here. Good for those brands. I think it is great and I think it's a long time coming. But do understand why they're rising, right? So if something is getting traction because it's easy to explain, that's really the lesson here for you, right? If something is falling because it's introducing friction, that's the lesson here, right? Because you can take a better product that's harder to sell and fix how it's positioned, right? You can reduce that friction. You can control how it enters that conversation. That's really the opportunity here, right? I mean, not necessarily to follow the momentum that we're seeing. It's really understanding it and maybe using some of this to your advantage by being able to reduce the friction and reposition the units that may not be performing so well in conversation right now.
All right. Anything else on this topic?
No, I don't think so. I mean, again, I would say that the takeaway here is really that these brands didn't suddenly get better or worse, right? It's just when it comes to the brands that are rising, it just goes to show you how slow the market is to react to change. It's real slow. And when a brand gets miscategorized early like that, it can take a really long time for the conversation to catch up, no matter how good a product can be. So when you see movement like this, it's not always going to be a momentum story, right? It could a lot of times it could be market correction, and maybe that's what we're starting to finally see here with these couple of brands that are rising in conversation.
We drop a new episode every day of the week, including weekends. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.